How's it going, everybody? In this video we are going to be modeling out a few assets here. So first thing I want to model on is show you my technique for modeling these keys here, the white and the black keys. We are going to model this opening, and then also we're going to model this wheel that you see inside here. So this wheel is kind of like the music wheel that holds that it basically kind of makes the keys move automatically. So that's the goal for this video, is to get those three things modeled in under 15 minutes, and then from there we will we'll be moving on to our next portion in our next video. So I'm going to pull this reference just to the side for now, but and then we'll kind of be going back and forth between the reference and not. So the previous video we modeled out our kind of the base that holds all these keys, and so now what we're going to do is actually model these keys out. So if I'm looking at my reference, the keys are close to this size. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and hide this mirror modifier, and I'm going to just grab this and duplicate it with Control D, and then right click to just put it back to place. And I want to just focus on making just the kind of the main key shape. So I'm going to move this down a bit where I find the keys appropriate, and then I think I'm okay with where it's placed. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, so now what I want to do is I could potentially try to size this out, so constantly be duplicating it and move the keys like that. I could use an array modifier to make it have or cram all these keys at once. I mean, we'll use a little bit of a combination of that in a moment. But first thing I want to do is I think I want to grab the bottom here, and I want to select this bottom. I want to move it up just a little bit, because keep in mind, if we can't see it, we don't necessarily need to model it. So I want to move that up enough. And actually, if I hit Shift I, that's going to actually probably should turn on my screencasting key so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, there it goes. So what I want to do here is I probably want to fill this out a little bit. So I'm just going to grab this face. I'm going to extrude it down. So I'm going to go to my extrude region in XYZ. I'm going to turn on my snaps and just snap it right to there. So that's pretty good. And then also, just to be safe, I'm going to go to my edit mode, the vertex selection, and Control A to select all. I'm going to right click. I want to merge vertices by distance, and it looks like I had one vertex that was overlapping another one, so therefore that has been removed and they were now merged together. So this is what all we really see in the model is the front, and you might see a little bit of the sides. At certain times, like if the keys were being pushed down a little bit, you would see a little bit of the sides. So therefore we're going to go ahead and assume that we can see the sides. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this face. So I use 3 for my face key, W for my move tool. And I want to go snap to vertex. I just want to snap it to this corner right here. I'm going to do the same thing, snap this to, well, I guess I need to mirror this over real quick. And then so if I were to start to move this over, it should, I guess it does snap. I didn't think it would, since it's not technically mirrored yet. Okay. That looks pretty good. So basically now this is how far my keys should go. I see that I can move this, the bottom up just a little bit more. I might want to snap that to this corner here. Maybe I want to push it down just a hair. There you go. That's pretty good. Okay. So now if I were to look at my keyboard reference right here, I see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of the white keys. So 14 white keys, that means it's divided 13 times. So you'll see these little separation between the two of them 13 different times, right? Okay. So what I want to do now is I'm going to go in here. I'm actually going to use my my edge tool, and I want to go to my loop cut, which is Alt C, and I'm just going to click it one time. And now for a number of cuts, I'm going to change this from 1 to 13. And that there is the keys I want, right? So let's say if there's 13. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now I do want all these, oops. I want all of these edges, I want to bevel them just a little bit. Now I don't necessarily need to bevel all of them, I guess, but in my case I will. So I'm going to hit Control B. I'm just going to bevel them enough so therefore there's a little bit of a difference. So maybe something like just enough that I can see the kind of space between. I think that looks pretty good. And now what I want to do here is I'm going to go ahead and just delete those. So hit delete faces, and so now I have this kind of space between. I might actually want to even come in here and do a little bit of a cut so it's just a hair, kind of that similar look, like about there. And then I'm going to come in and select that and delete that as well. And actually if I hit Shift I, isolate it, you'll see that a face there I can delete. Okay, so really all we really need in this case is I just need this one. So I'm gonna hit Shift I to exit local mode. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm just going to select this key here, and I'm just gonna hit Control I, otherwise you can go to Select and Invert. I want to hit delete here because what I want is this one key. I want it to be this used over and over. And actually, if you look here, you see in the back we have a face that's this is a little too far back, so I can move this forward a bit. Let's see. I'm going to then push it back to be just inside that. There you go. Now hitting Shift I again, I will go ahead and create these two edges. I'm going to just extrude them down with my Control E. And then I'm going to make sure to turn my snap to vertex to snap it right here, like so. And then if I hit the one key and Control A to select all, I will then make sure to merge vertices by distance. And I got rid of a few vertex that were not actually connected at that point. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this single key. But the reason I did that is because I wanted to first make sure that my key, I knew exactly how far it had to be, how large it had to be in order to mirror, or I guess kind of make an array across the whole entire piano properly. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and Object, Apply, Scale. And now I'm going to go to my modifier here, array, and I'm going to change this to 13. 14, sorry, we want 14 total. 14 total keys. And now, as you see here, we have all our keys. I'm just going to tweak this up just a hair until, let's see. It looks like 1.1 gives me the, let's go a little lighter than that. So let's go 1.075. A little bit too much, so let's go 1.09, and you can tweak with this a little bit. So this looks pretty close to what I'm looking for. I think I'm pretty happy with that. And if you really want to, well, if you realize later on like this was too large of a spacing between, which maybe mine was, what I can do then is I could also adjust that spacing by coming here and going to my individual origins, and if I just let's see, enter my 3 mode. Actually, I can just do the single one and give it a little bit more spacing, and then bring this back, just dial back a point or two more. Oh shoot, man, I'm not sure why I'm doing today. Okay, and maybe that's a little better. I don't know. So you can adjust it, but basically what the trick here is we're using what's called an array. This array is going to give us just a little bit of, it'll basically copy this over and over for us, so therefore we can have this nice look. But I'm going to save what I got there. I think even though that is some pretty big spacing, I think for my stylized scene I'm okay with that. Okay. Maybe not. Maybe I just want it a little bit thicker. And I'll bring this back just a hair. So some of this is just trial and error. You know, it is what it is, but so man, just can't quite get that right, but oops. I think that's pretty decent there. And if I want to here, I could also go my top view. I can tweak this a little bit if I want to move it just a hair left or right to get right in the middle. That's pretty good. So nice thing is for this, when it comes to unwrapping, I'm just gonna leave the array on, and I unwrap the one, and it will apply this unwrap to all of them. So okay, so now the next thing we're gonna be doing is the top keys. So I can take this, duplicate it, and just move it up a little bit, and then I'm going to actually I want to remove that array, so we just have the one key, and let's also move out. There you go. So for this, if you're looking at the black keys here, they do look to be a little bit smaller. So what I'm going to do for this one is right now this is off to the side, so I'm going to go object, set origin to geometry, and then I can scale this a little bit in. Maybe I want it to be a little bit smaller. I might want to push it back as well. So I can do that. Okay, so I'm going to select this face here. I'm just going to move it in however I find fit. So that looks pretty good there. If I go my top view, I might. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to actually go into X-ray view and grab this edge here. And then I'm going to leave X-ray view. I'm going to move this as far back as I can before. There you go. Okay. So now this one is one of those situations where I'm going to eventually I would like to duplicate this and then move it appropriately, as you can see here. But for the time being, I'm actually going to not doing that yet, because I want to first unwrap the one and then recycle those materials. Okay, so the next part we're going to move on to is this hole in the stand, or the kind of the base of our piano, and then we're going to also add in the music box. So the first thing I'm noticing is this is a little bit short for that. So I can do here, I'm just going to just grab this, and I'm going to hit the what's called soft select. So soft or proportional editing, also known as soft select in other programs. It'll basically move things, with the things that are selected being the strongest pull, and then anything, and it kind of tapers out to, it goes from 100% pulling to 0% depending on how large you have your radius set. So if I move this up, you'll see, right now nothing's really pulling. So therefore I have to proportional size strength. As I move that size strength up, other things will come up with it. There might be some additional editing I might need to do for this. So I just move that up. As you see, let me go ahead and grab all that. Okay, so now I'm going to try this again. And it looks like it's pretty good. But I will want to come in here and correct any of this. So turn on proportional editing. Make sure to put that down to 0. And then this one as well. Just scale this down to 0. And also I want to move it so it's lined up. There you go. I think maybe I might need to. I guess that's pretty decent. And this I'm also going to scale. Then move it so it's lined up with this piece. Okay, let me just go my side view here. That looks pretty good. It does it? I guess I thought it did. My front. Okay, yep, so that looks pretty decent. So now what I did basically is I gave myself a little bit more room to cut out this area here. So I can now move these two faces up a little bit. And this is where my hole is going to go here. And I'm going to bring these faces in with my scale. And I'm basically just kind of mapping out where I want this hole to be. So I'm going to map it out real quick, and then essentially what I'll be doing from that point is I'm just going to then delete the faces I won't want. This still looks a little bit too large, so I'm going to go ahead and grab these edges here, bring them in just a hair more, and then from here I'm going to turn on my vertex snap and just move and snap this. Oops. Snap this here to the bottom. I think now we're good. And actually I might want to make this slightly larger. There you go. Okay, so now what I'll do from this point is I'm going to go ahead and just extrude this back. So I'm going to hit Control E and then push it back. Now it would help if I turn off my proportional snapping. There you go. Okay, so now I made this kind of this indent. I'm noticing now that it's a little bit shorter than I had intended it to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that right. That looks a little better. Maybe it's a little too large actually. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so now the next piece I need to do is I want to make sure this is far enough back that I can then place in my music scroll wheel. The music scroll wheel itself is just a simple, I'm going to go my object mode, add mesh cylinder. I want the cylinder to be something like maybe 12 vertices, and then I can rotate this 90 degrees, and we'll just move it up, and I want to make it a little bit larger, so I'm moving my front view here. I think that's probably pretty decent. I could make it a little bigger if I want. It's like that. Okay, and now what I want to do is I select either face, and I want to use what's called inset or insert. It depends on what software you're in. And I just want to push that in, and I want to scale it out just a little bit. There you go. So now we have this kind of look. And then I'm going to extrude this along normals, and just extrude it out a good chunk. And then from there I can just delete those faces, since I will not be able to see those faces. And now I'm going to push it back into this kind of chest, or this kind of opening here. And I'm pretty content with how this looks. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how that looks. So here now we modeled our keys. I know it took a little longer than I had anticipated. We just modeled the one key for now, because we're going to actually unwrap it, and then from that point we will, once we unwrap the keys, we will then we'll duplicate them so we can have overlapping UVs. Then we add this inset into our into our base, and then add this music wheel that has that automatic music playing. So in the next video, we will get into a little bit more of the kind of detailed area. So for example, what we're going to be doing is we'll put on this little piece here, we'll create these two frames, and then if we have time, we'll add in the additional these kind of decorative pieces, the footing for the foot pedal, and these extra boards. So it sounds like it's going to be quite an overwhelming task, but I do think that they're fairly quick, the next couple items here. So yeah, so anyways, just stay tuned for the next video.